Welcome to Aging in Place Strategies and Answers with Linda Prio. Will it be possible to remain in my home as I age? Do I feel safe in my home? How do I figure out how much support I will need when my health needs start to change? What if I decide to move into a community instead? Which community will meet my needs now and in the future? Who will play a role in helping me with decision making? Do you ask yourself these same questions? Aging in Place Strategies and Answers can help you gain practical knowledge that will help you create your own Aging in Place roadmap. If you are already a care partner, a power of attorney, or in crisis mode with your Aging in Place strategy, you will learn what you need to know that you don't know. For over 20 years, I have been marketing Aging in Place services to clients and educating families and healthcare professionals in how to put aging in place strategies into place. When you utilize aging in place, you are allowed to choose where you want to live and make those decisions so that you can retain your quality of life. Welcome back to Aging in Place Strategies and Answers podcast. Today, I feel very compelled to share some public safety information that could help you or perhaps someone you care about avoid a scam. This is what the professionals say about being scammed. When you think you can't be scammed or that you won't fall for something so ridiculous, you're at the greatest risk of being scammed. Scams happen quick. They always happen when you least expect them, when you're unprepared, and when you're caught off guard. And scammers' tactics work. Scammers work on your emotions. So when you're in a conversation with someone who's imparting some information that seems unlikely, possibly untrue, very confusing, hang up and block their number. Scammers want to scare you and they want your cash. The easiest way for them to get your cash is for you to give them too much information. When was the last time you hung up the phone and thought, oh my gosh, I just gave my birth date and my social security number? These are typically two of the items that people who are interested in scamming you or who are not on the up and up will be asking for. So be aware. But they also might ask you to go to buy Target gift cards and then to send them someplace. Or perhaps they might tell you to buy Bitcoin from a gas station. And just as surely as I am saying those words, you're probably thinking, what in the world? Why would I ever go to buy Bitcoin from a gas station? And my next thought was, why are gas stations selling Bitcoin? Isn't that something that you would usually talk to some financial planner or somebody who's in this particular industry that handles Bitcoin? Well, there you have it. Why even think about this anymore? You just need to stop the conversation and hang up, because if you let a scammer talk, they will draw you in. Now, many of you know that I work in the senior health industry. Medicare has just concluded its open enrollment for your Medicare coverage for 2026, and it's now mid-January. And you know what? I have heard several stories already from many seniors that they are now being aware that they changed their insurance plan, but they didn't mean to. The conversation can go something like this. Hi, Mrs. Smith. Did you make any changes to your health insurance? Mrs. Smith says, "No, I didn't make any changes." And yet, the medical provider that you're seeing that day runs your birth date and your social security number and lets you know that you have enrolled in a Medicare C plan, which is a Medicare Advantage plan. And unfortunately, they do not accept that insurance. The senior Mrs. Smith says, "No, I didn't change it. It stayed the same. They told me it was the same plan." Now, if you're a regular listener, I have many podcasts devoted to health insurance and more specifically, what to do if you're losing your health insurance coverage or a provider will not take that coverage any longer. If you have any concerns or have had this happen to you already this year, please call 1-800-MEDICARE. They can help you disenroll and get back into your other plan. This is a story that I heard yesterday that I want to share with you so that you know scams are for real and that they are very subtle, but they usually require you to make a decision quickly. That would probably be my first clue because I am not a fast decision maker. I have to think things over. And many times I will ask somebody to send something to my email so that I can think it through and look it over later. So remember that you don't need to make decisions quickly, whether it would be from an insurance broker, a financial broker, a lawyer. There is always time to filter that information and then to get back with somebody. I've even heard on Amazon, if somebody says there's only 2 left, or you need to decide now if somebody's pressuring you for a remodel, know that that is probably a big tip off and you don't have to make that decision quickly. But this is the story I want to tell you. A broker or a broker's representative knocked on doors within a 55-plus senior mobile home community and told the senior that they talked with that it was time for them to change their Medicare insurance, that it was open enrollment time, and that they had 2 health care plans that they could choose from. The senior was flustered, caught off guard, wasn't prepared. And when the broker pushed and said, you could do this one or this one, they're both the same, it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, the senior chose another plan and forfeited his TRICARE for Life plan that he earned through his military service. So I share this information to let you know that what I'm talking about is real and it needs to have some of your brain power and your ears listening so that you can take in this information. So now that I have your attention, we can begin our conversation about a sign that I saw at a gas station several months ago advertising that you could buy Bitcoin from the ATM inside the gas station. And of course, I was rolling by on my way to do errands, and it just struck me as odd. And I wondered who might be considering buying Bitcoin at a gas station. And my listeners know that I'm a senior watchdog and an advocate, so I thought that I needed to bring this to your attention. And then once I had that thought, the information just started coming to me, and I realized that this could be a bad idea or a scam. So I'm going to give you a little knowledge about what Bitcoin isn't, because I have a hunch that many of you do not even know what I'm talking about when I say Bitcoin, or I might say cryptocurrency. And then I also want to talk about why gas stations have Bitcoin ATMs, and then most importantly, how to stay safe. So for those of you who still are in the dark about Bitcoin, let me explain as simply as I can what Bitcoin is not. Now, a word from our sponsor.
Are you looking for resources on senior living, Check out guideforseniorliving.com for our free online senior resource guide to find senior housing, care, and community connections. Start searching now at guide number 4 seniorliving.com. That's guideforseniorliving.com to find the contact information for senior housing, care, and community connections.
Now let's return to the podcast. Bitcoin is not cash. It is not a credit card. Bitcoin isn't issued or backed by any government or central bank. The value of the Bitcoin goes up and down, and it is not insured like traditional money in the bank. Bitcoin functions more like a speculation. People speculate on whether the value of the coin is going to go, the virtual coin, I might add, is going to go up or down. Back in the late 70s, people bought shares in oil fields as a speculation, and they were hoping that their money would make money. But as with any speculation, some people make money, some people lose money. But those oil shares, those shares in the oil fields, the speculation didn't go up or produce the revenue intended, and most people lost the money that they had invested in that speculative deal. And that's what a speculation is. It's not a sure thing. It's a gamble. Bitcoin doesn't pay dividends. Seniors have lost hundreds of millions of dollars to crypto ATM scams, often at gas stations, with the FBI reporting nearly $250 million lost in 2024 alone. And a significant portion of this money is from older adults who were tricked into sending funds to scammers via these machines. The scammers used fake emergencies, or that they would help them with tech support. And of course, those were scams, and those losses often resulted in tens of thousands of dollars. One couple in their 80s were scammed out of everything to the tune of $1.3 million. They thought that they were doing their patriotic duty and helping the FBI in a money laundering scheme. And they just kept putting money in the machines and did not know that they were being scammed. They thought they were being good citizens. And these people were not having difficulty cognitively. They really thought they were doing the right thing. So know that we need to be aware of this. Bitcoin ATMs in gas stations and convenience stores are frequently used for scams, leading to substantial losses. Victims are often tricked via phone into depositing cash into these machines to secure funds or avoid arrests, and again, resulting in millions of dollars. Elderly or seniors are usually targeted. An 85-year-old woman in Texas was scammed into depositing over $23,000 at a gas station after being told her bank account was unsafe, and the scammer even ordered a car to be sent to her location to take her to the gas station. There were massive losses. In Iowa, over $20 million was lost in transactions through machines like CoinFlip and Bitcoin Depot. A Spokane, Washington case saw a victim lose $900,000. A Circle K in South Carolina became a hub for scams, prompting a lawsuit after a woman deposited $30,000, alleging that the store failed to stop the fraudulent activity. Scammers often pretend to be government officials or romantic interest to intimidate or coax victims, such as a Pennsylvania woman who lost $300,000. Due to the high rates of fraud, over 17 states have passed laws restricting or banning these kiosks, which are often found near snack aisles. And since I went by this gas station today on my way to a meeting, I can tell you that the sign is still up, but I don't know if the machine is still in the gas station. If you are asked to pay with a Bitcoin ATM, it is almost certainly a scam, as legitimate businesses and government agencies do not accept payment this way. When you buy Bitcoin from an ATM, you will need to scan your driver's license, use your debit card, and have a virtual wallet for the Bitcoin or cryptocurrency to go to. I know I said virtual wallet and scanning my driver's license because those are not things that most seniors feel comfortable doing. And what do you mean I have to have a virtual wallet? Here's my physical wallet. Why do I have to have a virtual wallet? And normally what happens is that a scammer will say, I know you don't know what that is. Let me help you out. Let me set up that virtual wallet for you. And then they put their information in so that it goes straight to their virtual wallet and not yours. Now, I am going to admit to you today that I did a quick AI, artificial intelligence overview for this podcast so that I could flesh out the most important facts quickly and stick to the point. Buying Bitcoin at a gas station offers convenience, but carries significant scam risks. Criminals use tactics to pressure victims into sending money for fake emergencies or investments, but the transactions are final and you cannot recover the money you put into the machine, and older adults are usually their target. And why do you think that is? Well, let's just face it, older adults have money, or most older adults are in a different time of their life and tend to have more money readily available. But usually always scammers pretend to be government officials, tech support, or online dating predators. So be aware, even if this is a romantic interest. And sometimes we just don't want to hear the truth. We want to believe that people are inherently good, and many are, but just know that this is for real. Use extreme caution. Never respond to unsolicited demands. While some machines have security like ID verification, they're vulnerable to scams and cyber threats. Do not let someone else set up your virtual wallet or your crypto wallet, because remember, Bitcoin is not real. It is a virtual coin. So that's why you need a virtual wallet to put it into. Am I starting to confuse you? Well, that's good, because if somebody says Bitcoin, you can just say, that's confusing to me, goodbye. Don't let anybody talk to you about it. But I will tell you that many people do buy and trade Bitcoin. In fact, over 1 million people are utilizing this form of cryptocurrencies. But first, a word from our sponsor. Listeners, do you need a speaker for your group? Or perhaps you would like to know how to access my YouTube channels? Please check out my website, seniorsupportstrategies.com. On the website, you will even find more details about how to get a personal consultation. Thanks for listening. Let's return to the podcast. Well, why do gas stations offer these Bitcoin machines? Well, Bitcoin operators find that gas stations are convenient locations, and they're usually high traffic areas. Gas station owners can earn money through revenue share agreements with the Bitcoin ATM, or they might receive a fixed monthly rental fee for having that machine in their store. Bitcoin Companies might tell the gas station that they could attract new customers to the store by having a Bitcoin machine. And of course, convenience is another feature for those who don't use bank accounts and use cash for transactions. Like bank ATMs, Bitcoin ATMs allow for sending money, making online purchases easy, but be aware of high fees for this convenience, and transactions made through Bitcoin ATMs are really difficult to trace. And like I said, most legitimate businesses do not require Bitcoin. In fact, they would have trouble translating the amount of value that Bitcoin has for their product, almost like a foreign currency. Maybe your Bitcoin is higher, has more value than what you're buying. So that cryptocurrency conversion is going to be very difficult for legitimate businesses. But if you are interested in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, based on the facts that many, many people are investing in this form of speculation, talk to your bank. Talk to your financial advisor. As with any investment, make sure you know what you're doing and if this is the right investment for you and for your risk tolerance. If you invest in cryptocurrency, keep notes, passwords, amount, sales, and who is managing it, just like you would a bank account, and refer to it often. Put it in your trust like a bank account. Well, listeners, as always, I have a caregiver tip for you at the end of every podcast, this one included. I remember having a conversation with a family member who had an elderly neighbor who had just received a call from a scammer. And this lady was intelligent, but she got so nervous and upset that she called my family member and said, "Tell your mom I'm going to Target to buy gift cards." And then she just hung up the phone and left. So the person who took the message relayed it, and they all looked at each other and realized this was a scam. But unfortunately, she'd already gone to the grocery store or to the store to buy these cards without anybody knowing what she was doing, and nobody asked what she was up to. And I know that sounds odd, but if you're a senior watchdog like me, you'll know it's okay to ask a question and be wrong rather than to say nothing. In fact, some of the laws have really changed in that area where store owners are trying to help anyone who is buying a lot of cards and putting a lot of money into cards or seeing them coming in routinely. What are you doing? Is everything okay? Are you safe? Now, be aware. My caregiver tip is this: to be aware of scams and who your senior adult is talking to. And if they ask you for an odd request, find out some more details. Block phone numbers if somebody is harassing your senior adult. Don't answer the phone during the Medicare enrollment time, because 10 to 1, you're going to get a lot of phone calls from people who have a lot of things to say about healthcare and health insurance, and I'm not sure that you would understand, or you might not make the right decision. If this has happened to you and you have found out that your insurance unfortunately did change due to some misinformation that you received, please call 1-800-MEDICARE and don't wait. We're already in the middle of January and they can help you disenroll. If you are the financial power of attorney for somebody, ask if there have been any investments or speculation in cryptocurrency, gold, silver, coins, etc., where they're located, where the passwords are, what the values currently are. Ask these questions so that you know the answers. And in this way, it will help you be prepared when the time comes for you to help manage or liquidate these items. The most important thing is share this information with others. And I do thank you for listening today and allowing me to help you prevent yourself from being scammed, but also to help you prevent others that you know and care for. Thank you for joining me today. Please remember that this podcast is intended as education and not advice. Don't forget to share this podcast with family, friends, or colleagues who want to learn how to age in place, but also share this with those who find themselves in crisis mode. Please go to my website, seniorsupportstrategies.com, for more information. When you subscribe to Aging in Place Strategies and Answers, you gain access to premium content and professional tips on creating your own Aging in Place roadmap. As always, I value the time you spend with me.